Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are keeping healthy and safe during the pandemic. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to today's webinar, The Business of Survival, powered by HP. It's overwhelming to see fabulous response to this webinar series. My name is Indrajit Sauji. I head the construction and design vertical for ITP in India, and I'll be your host for today. For people who couldn't attend our previous two sessions, can watch it on our website, constructionweekonline.in, as well as on our YouTube channel. It's available now. Before beginning the webinar, I would like to know if the audio and video are clear. If any issues with the communication, do let us know by the chat so that we can sort it out soon. I repeat, please highlight it on the chat. Now, let me give you a brief introduction about ITP. ITP Media Group is one of the largest foreign media companies in India. The group now publishes more than 100 weekly and monthly magazines and has a wide portfolio of market-leading digital properties. Some of our well-known global titles includes magazines like Harper's Bazaar, Vogue, Time Out, Cosmopolitan, Grazia, Construction Week, and of course Architect and Interiors India. And I can go on, we have 100 as I mentioned. In India, we have 7 titles, including Construction Week. Construction Week is one of our largest circulated construction magazines globally, with presence across geographies. We have editions in English, Arabic, and very soon we are planning to come up with our Hindi edition. So stay tuned. Let me come back to today's webinar. Today we are going to discuss on topic Business of Survival, as I mentioned earlier. It's not easy being a real estate developer, even for the seasoned ones. The near future appears bleak. It's time to put our heads together to arrive at a solution to ease woes. Fortunately, with us today, we have the subject experts and industry leaders. We will chat with them to pick up their experienced minds for the industry to make a comeback. There is also going to be a poll during the session. Results of the poll will be shared on the website. After each segment, we will be screening a poll. The poll will be live on the screen for a minute. I request each one of you to cast your votes. In case if you have any questions during the course of the session, please feel free to ask them by using the question tab on the top left corner of your screen. Even before we have started the session, we have got a lot of requests on mails. We are still getting requests on our WhatsApps and all, but I would request, please put it on the chat, on the Q&A section of the webinar. We'll do the Q&A session towards the end of this. We will allocate a good 10 minutes time. My team and I are looking to all the questions and we'll try to answer as many as possible. Now, without any further delay, let me introduce the legendary panel to you. We have Mr. Anuj Puri, Chairman, Enerock Property Consultants. Anuj, if you can wave. Ashish Purvankara, MD Purvankara Limited.
Hi.
Mr. Baman Irani, CMD Rustamji Group.
Hi guys.
Mr. Sanjay Dutt, MD and CEO Tata Realty and Infrastructure. Sangeeta would be joining in soon. Sangeeta Prasad, MD and CEO Mahindra Life Spaces. She'll be joining us soon. We have Jayashree Mendes, our editor for Construction Week, and ably moderated by our very own Mr. Vibhor Srivastava, Group Publishing Director, ITP Media India. Over to you, Vibhor. You can take it up now.
So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely proud and delighted to welcome each one of you to the webinar series of Business of Survival powered by HP India. As we all know, the world has come to an indefinite standstill due to the ongoing COVID-19, which has of date affected more than 199 countries. This indeed is the most challenging time for all of us around the globe, as safety and well-being of the people has now become the prime agenda of nation leaders as they urge the people to stay indoors, safe, and take the necessary precautions. You know, in times of these crises, I really want to bring a brand which is really, I've been working and associated for long, and that's our wonderful brand called HP. We all understand and acknowledge the role of power of technology in the construction segment. Talking of which, we are delighted to inform that this webinar is powered by HP DesignJet large format printers, where once again, HP proves that it stands strong as a partner with us even during trying times. HP DesignJet large printers need no introduction. As we all know, this technology is leading market in the AEC space in terms of print technology. A technology that believes in pacing up the needs with AEC segment, innovation consistently to make workflows quicker and easier for the users, shaping designs into reality with accuracy. We welcome HP aboard for the webinar. So here we go straight up, and I think Sanjay, you are pressed for time, and so I'm going to go straight to you to ask you. Tata has such a long history of 100 years, and you've seen the toughest of the situations as a group. How, as a corporate, are you prepared from the learnings within your group, and how can you help the developers here to weather the storm from the learnings of the Tata Group?
Thank you for the opportunity. I joined from commercial to residential business during the peak of the recession to make myself more aware of the world around us in the real estate space. And in last 2 years has been a journey for me. Anuj knows much more and closely he has worked. Anurag has partnered with us and very successfully so, I must say. In last 2 years, what I have observed is when you look back 8 years, a total 10 years, we've always been disrupted, whether it was global financial crisis, whether it was, over speculative markets in residential, cyclical trends between commercial and resi. Commercial was down, it bounced back. Resi is down, commercial is exceeding limits. Warehousing, logistic opening up, co-work, co-living, new concepts, and many other businesses opening up. But for some reason, residential continued to kind of stay under a bit of weather. But at the same time, last 3 to 4 years, we saw a lot of developers aligning to this new world, taking decisive decisions to correct themselves and be more relevant for the new markets and new business. I think those developers have done extremely well. And there are a lot of local developers, I must say, who have demonstrated that they are as corporate as the so-called corporate developers, which is something I want to bring it up in this discussion. Often Tata, Godrej, Mahindra are considered as corporate. But I believe any developer who had set the system and processes and the discipline is a corporate developer. And therefore, they are doing wonderful. And therefore, taking advantage of the consolidation in the real estate sector. So there are many who are thriving even during this disruption. When you look at telecom sector, you look at many other sectors, they've all gone through consolidation. So if real estate is going through a bit of consolidation, it's quite natural. I think developers wanted to expand all over the country, then they contracted to their home markets. Now they're selectively expanding. It's all part of the process and learning. I think in the last 20 years, we saw a lot of new entrants who are now matured and understand the dynamics of business. I think other than the herd mentality, which continues to somehow culturally impact all of us, everything else seems to be going okay. The other area which perhaps the developers took time was digitization. Using technology, but I think digitization only started last 3 to 4 years. And I think we obviously started focusing our energies on sales and marketing because that was getting the maximum attention. But from land surveying to last mile asset management, property management, all is now on digital platforms. Only thing which is not on digital platform is this requirement of the government to have wet signatures on a sale agreement and physically go and register the agreements in the government after standing in queue for 1 hour. has changed. So I feel this particular COVID-19 incidence has taken all the governments and all the global leaders by surprise. Everybody has failed, in my opinion, as to deal with it. We're still wondering how to narrow it down to few choices that we want to make. Should we open the economy? Should we not? The dilemma continues. Cases are rising. My view is, at least, I don't want to sound too pessimist. I'm generally optimist, and I believe we will all be back soon, and far more resilient than we were. But the H1 of this financial year is gone, and you may get some sales, and there could be some digital sales, but as an economy, that's a huge hit. And even though there is a conscious effort at Tata's to show empathy towards employees, workers, vendors, and we are making our payments, we're going for medicals, attending to everybody. But the fact is, the capital markets have taken a tumble. Capital has become more expensive, even though the interest rates have come down. Simultaneously, velocities have come down. So it goes without saying that you will have a severe impact on almost everybody. And I just hope the distress fund doesn't get distressed in the process. It's only 20,000 crores. We need about only 3 lakh crores there. So I'm positive that the entrepreneurship, the drive to fight the odds, and the fact that we have no other choice but to kind of bounce, drive us towards an effort to bring everything back. And I think there are many arguments in favor of real estate. Equity markets tumble, NRIs flocking, dollars rupee relationship much better. Overall understanding of the challenges in the business, the government's response to the sector, which has been there. I wish some of the measures they took in the recent time, they had taken 2 years ago. Things would have been much better. We would have sold some more stock by now, but there I durustai. Challenges bring their own opportunities of a sort. So companies who have access to capital, have geared up and build a strong organization and a team to weather this storm, I have no doubt, will bounce back with much more opportunities and growth. So one has to see the line of sight for next 2 years and then take decisions today, and not just have a knee-jerk reaction and, not show empathy towards people, employees and customers and, all the people involved. I think that's what's going to save this country.
Well, thank you, Sanjay. Very well said. I think lots of things you actually summarized in the opening statement in terms of, but the biggest highlights I see as a corporate talking about a local developer coming who are following processes and systems and staying ahead the curve will not be, are well poised to see this. And on a high note, let me also get Ashish, his thoughts. How are you dealing with it? How's your organization dealing with it? And how's Bangalore as a market, coming to it? And Anuj, I'm going to come back on the asset class very quickly to you and then to Baman. So Ashish, just want to take your take on how are you having the endurance at your group and how are you seeing Bangalore market? What is your view?
So, there are two sorts of resets on our phones, right? There's a reset and then there's a hard reset. I think every past event was a reset. I think everyone needs to look at this event as a hard reset, simply because you've seen both sides being paralyzed, demand and supply. In the past, while demand was paralyzed, you still had supply, you still had people launching, sites were on, we were still producing, even in face of a weak demand. So in that sense, I think it's a hard reset. It's a good time for people to sit back. I think life as we know it is going to change. The product profile is going to change. So I think people need to put pen to paper. I think we've all visited way too many webinars. We discuss a lot, but I think people need to put pen to paper individually and with their leadership teams, and have two buckets of thoughts. One's short term, and the second one is long term. In the short term, in my opinion, the most important today, from a developer's point of view, is cash flows. I don't think I put anything else higher than cash flows. That may mean aggressive collections. That may mean incentivized collections. If you want to give your existing customer an incentive so that he makes his payment, which is due, also, I think we need to think out of the box. If you need to talk to your bankers that you have long-standing relationships with, ensure that you have that line of credit. Only people with cash flow or with lines of credit ready are the guys, in my opinion, who will weather this storm. Because I think that's the single most important thing from a short-term perspective. The other short-term measures that we are taking right now, obviously, is digitization. We've sold, close to 100 units over the last 15 days on our online platform, right? So I think sales, customer engagement, like I said, is going to change. People need to rely a lot more on automation, digitization, ERPs, all those sorts of things at site as well. I think labor is going to be a challenge, right? So most of our projects, some of the projects which have sold exceptionally well today, what gives me sleepless nights is, will I be able to construct on time? Obviously, the government is giving you extensions, but that is going to result in costs. I don't know if I can go back to our customers and ask for extra because the contractor is going to claim. But can I go back to my customer? I don't think I can, right? It's messy. So therefore, I think people need to automate, mechanize, digitize as much as they can. This is the time if you haven't done it already. We are seeing early successes on that front. So I think these are the few steps that we at Puravankar are taking and Provident in the short-term perspective. Long-term, we've had various discussions with our international and domestic architects. I believe the product will change in the sense that I think this whole work from home, obviously, I don't think as a concept it can work on a large-scale basis, but I do think a certain percentage of MNCs, IT, etc., they will experiment with the work with home. Now, what does that mean in terms of design? Would you need to have clubhouses with meeting rooms that one can book? Will the apartments, the larger ones, need a smaller office space, right? Because when you're sitting with a family, you don't need that distraction through the day. So we're now brainstorming, doing offline surveys, trying to understand what is the single most important thing for you in terms of work from home. Is it privacy? Is it bandwidth connectivity? So do our future projects need to ensure that we provide the bandwidth required for a work from home? So these are a few of the things that we are looking at for now.
Well said. I think you really gave a very good insight in terms of the short term, and it depends what kind of a runway you are on. I mean, you have a very limited runway, 6 months short. Sorry.
I'm very confident. End of the day, I think real estate, especially housing as an asset class, let's go back 50, 70 years. It either will hold its, let's not look at the small dips. I mean, these are unprecedented situations. But having said that, I think people being locked up for 30 days, glass half full, I believe they've realized the sense of safety and security that a home provides them. They've realized that they may want to upgrade to a project which has modern amenities, right? They've realized those importance. They've been harassed by their lessors. So I believe, but of course, then you have the question of affordability, so the right ticket sizes in a Bangalore perspective, if I say anything from 40 lakhs to under 1 crore, yes, give it a month or two for things to, sort of settle down. But I believe that they should see good sales.
No, very well said. I think Bangalore people who are good, they are on safe hands, and you heard about Ashish said. But Baman, I wanted to take you in this conversation to hear your thoughts, especially where we see Mumbai and Maharashtra having the maximum unsold, inventory line. So, Baman, what are your thoughts here? Baman, your mic, yeah. Awesome.
So let me start by saying that I kind of agree with Sanjay. This is the time to be cautiously optimistic if you want to be optimistic at all. I agree with Ashish on the part that people are going to look at homes a little more seriously. They're not going to wipe it out of their asset classes because they've seen their capital erode by 30-40% on every other market. And today what we saw happening to mutual funds could also be something that drives people towards putting a certain amount of money into the asset. But I'm very clear in my head that we're going to need a lot more than just a hope and a prayer. We're going to need the government to actually take some decisive steps. I'm a firm believer that, even simple things which are required, I can speak for the Mumbai market. As you all know, I only work in Mumbai and MMR. The Mumbai MMR market has been outpricing itself only because of the premiums that we pay to government agencies, that is to the BMC or to state government. If these guys, if our government can support us by giving us a waiver or giving us a 90% waiver, and that is what we've been asking from the state government for a period of a year or two on residual charges that are payable by us for the approvals, I think we can, in a way, absorb or rather, take this jolt a little easily. Another thing is, I can never understand why we need to ask some things which are as obvious can be. This entire, COVID 30-day lockdown, which in Mumbai they say will be another 30 days, is going to set us back by a year in terms of our construction schedule. Sanjay and Ashish, I don't know if you all agree, but the migrant labor who, as it is, goes back May, is going to flee. He's going to fly. He's boss. We are scared of this animal called COVID. These guys are extra scared of it because they only believe in, the God above and some other forces that they can work with. So I think a year minimum is going to be the setback. Now, talk about, what we need to do. I think as a developer fraternity, the first thing we need to do is, like Ashish said, get inventive, be clear that cash is king and that cash should be with you to be king. Otherwise, if it's king on the other side, it's more problem.
It's a feel-good factor.
Yeah. No. I mean, so we've been flitting like butterflies to the cheapest cash capital provider, etc. I think it's time to start going deep in all our relationships. So if I were Anuj, I would work with my top 5 clients where they would know Anuj. I mean, see Anuj on a regular basis. Top 10 clients. I'm sure he does that. I'm just giving it as an example. If I work with financial institutions, I take the top 3 or top 2, whoever matter to me, rather than trying to go across the board. You need people who will hold your hand. Likewise, you need to go deeper with your, brokers. I mean, why not? This is the time. I mean, with everything that IT does and whatever, people need the human touch. And Anuj, you will be, if you check with your team, right now, people need to be told this project is good. I'm telling you, we reach out through IT, we go through whatever. I think a partnership model through and through for every aspect of real estate is required. A partnership with our own teams, our own people, to tell them honestly, the boss, this is a tough time. My shirt could, be gone. But if we want our shirts on our back and if we want, food on our plates and if we want a life in the future, you need to align with us. It's one thing for the government to say, don't cut salaries, pay everything on time, on top of it, pay your taxes and, jokingly even pay the PM fund. The point is, you need to tell people that the fact of the matter is, this is not a May, June problem. This is actually, Sanjay said the first half of this year, I'm saying maybe the full year is gone. The only respite I see is if things open up quickly around maybe Ganpati in Mumbai, might be, the Vignahara who will take us through. So I think a partnership model is what we are proposing everywhere. And like Ashish said, we are cognizant of the fact that the world will change. Ashish, they won't only change in terms of your drawing room or your, an additional room size. It's going to start at your security gates, what kind of delivery services we'll keep. It's going to start at your reception lobbies, what kind of, people will come through. It's going to be in your elevators. If you're a commercial developer, please tell me how you're going to do social distancing in an elevator. 16 people elevator, you normally have 10 or 12 people, right? Look at the trains. I mean, so world is going to change. I say change already is happening. I've never sat at home for 30 days and I am right here smiling. Change is going to happen. We need to be aware of it. We need to be, thinking ahead of it. And I can tell you this, if I were to take a call, I would take the biggest call I would take is in terms of my partnerships through and through, my contractors, my suppliers, my I want less paperwork. I want more action. I want less time lost in discussions. I want more time share of theirs in terms of the work that I get out of them. That's it. I mean, I would follow this model, Bipul.
Very well said, Baman. I think two things. I'll just quickly take a minute. What I liked about Ashish, he talked about architects, and they have to. There is a whole change of reorientation to approach in the projects and the asset that you want to build. And Baman, I absolutely 100% agree. These are the times when I think the pedigree and the foundation of anything would be true relationship. Who better than in this whole global world understands the relationship better than Indians and us? I mean, we truly stand by, and all our success and foundations have been largely in a very, very accountable relationship. And I think that would be the mantra. Let me quickly bring the man, the man himself, Anuj Puri. Anuj, I have one long question for you. The long and the short of it is that you straddle across the spectrum of the various asset class. There is each asset class is going to be affected severely. But we would like to know, our audience would like to know, what is your view? And where do you think you will see early comebacks or signs of improvement? And one thing to the audience, tell me, I saw some poster of Anuj, which is such a great positive sign to the whole thing. They did a deal. I think Ashish sold about 115 units. So people who are watching this, there are things happening and moving. And Anuj had, I think, 252 odd crores plus deal. So that's a good sign. But Anuj, coming back to the question again, what's your view on the various asset class, Anuj?
So thank you very much, Vibhor, and thanks, Jayashree, for having all of us. It's very nice. I mean, this is a beautiful panel. I mean, they're so deep friends of mine. Sanjay, Ashish, Bopan. I think I've not actually heard them speak the way that they've spoken just now. They speak with me in a very different language. So delighted to hear their views so articulately put together, Vibhor. I would say is 5-6 things. I mean, I really liked all three. First is I'll start with Bowman. I think it is collaboration, and Vibhor, what I feel is it's a tunnel, and it's cold water, and we don't know the ground in the tunnel unless you actually hold each other's hand and go, because it'll be like the ground level will be like straight, and then it'll go down, and then it'll be if you've got partners on the other side, they'll hold you through. And that is what I am, when I close my eyes, I see, I visualize, I feel this way. And equally, I know when we're going to come out on the other side of the tunnel, it is not the same world. I think is if people are thinking that, once the lockdown opens, we're going to go back there, unlikely. We're going to go back there. This is going to be about psychologists. It's going to be about sociologists. It's going to be about technologists. It is not going to be about traditional economies. The way that we entered the tunnel, it is a huge amount of human behavior is going to change in there. Even if vaccine was to come in at the beginning of next year, I still feel there is going to be a huge amount of change. I mean, design will change. Again, Bowman referred to the densities. The density in Indian office space is so high. You're going to start to see those designs, really change. The second is, I think Ashish and Sanjay touched this point in different ways. And I feel, it is about reasonableness in everything that you feel. And I'll put 2 sub-points when they were speaking, it occurred to me, don't have bad behavior and don't have trust deficit with whoever you are dealing. Whatever the contract may say, you can't go by the letter of contract at this moment in time. What is reasonable? You decide between the partners, as long as there's not a bad behavior. I mean, Bowman said about the workforce as well. You have to transparently sit down with them and say, guys, there has to be a middle ground in there. As long as both sides are transparently dealing with it, there is going to be a middle ground, and that's the way that we're going to take it. And the third I would say is that this is going to be about new business models. I mean, Ashish is re-innovating, the entire Puravankara. Sanjay is looking at what he can do more on the commercial side. I know how Bowman is thinking about it. It is going to be about new business models. It can't be the same business model. So one thing that I would say to the viewers is, guys, don't think the way that we've gone into this tunnel is the way that we're coming out on the other side. I don't think so. I think, we've had 25, 30 years of experience in this industry. We've gone through some of the earlier economic downturns before. This is not the same. And lots of people compare it to 2008-9. I was running JLL at that time. Clearly it is not the same in this one. Is coming back to your question on the asset classes. Different asset classes behaving differently. Obviously, hotel hospitality hit hardest. I just finished a webinar on the retail, hit hardest. I mean, Sanjay was so lucky. He just exited the retail about 2-3 months ago on that is. And, it is, we're going to take a long time. And, people are again not understanding the lockdown once it opens. The social distancing, theaters not opening, food courts not opening, restaurants not opening, trial rooms. One of the things, small things, the retailer said it was, even if you open the mall, how will I open my trial room? I cannot allow people to wear, and try these clothes only. I didn't think through that. Is there going to be so much that you'll have to start to think about this? And it's like, what's going to happen to my merchandise, which is in the store? It is now outdated. Fashion is gone. It would have accumulated huge amount of dust on that. So we'll have to really look at those two asset classes, hospitality and retail. I think offices, the verdict is not yet out. I think it'll take a little bit more time. We need to see how US, really comes out. We are very, very dependent on office on the US economy. Because, most of the years, the largest occupiers of space have been American corporates. So we want to see is, how is an Accenture, IBM, Cisco, Microsoft, all these guys going to be planning to take up space. At this moment in time, they're struggling in their own countries. They will just take the stock there, and then, at some stage, start to look in here. I very much agree with what Sanjay said, is that, on the residential, we may be surprised. When we did this survey, before, a lot of it was covered. I'll not repeat that. But 3 other points that we discovered, apart from, hit on the mutual fund and the real estate, and, I need a sort of a roof over my head, which I own because it's more security. 3 other things, particularly Ashish, in Bangalore and in Pune, the tenants were differentiated from the flat owners by the building societies. It is amazing, huh? And the building societies had different restrictions on the tenants versus the flat owners who were running those building societies. The second is that many of these guys are saying is that, my parents have been putting pressure, my spouse has been putting pressure, I have been resisting to this. Now, given that the interest rate is at a 14-year low, home loan interest rate is at 14-year low. 2006, we had seen such kind of interest rates. So suddenly they're like, it's making sense. I'm paying 2.5%, maybe in some cases 3% of the value of the property as yearly rent. Here I can get it at 7.5% EMI. It starts to make sense. And then obviously the product will go through a change. I think also the quality of construction, Vibhor, is going to be very important. They've now lived in their houses. They've seen, I have 25 cracks in this house. Next time, he's going to make sure that, he will only go to, the 3 guys who are here on the panel. They're absolutely very clear that they will go to a brand, a name who has delivered earlier. Whether it's a corporate, it doesn't matter. I mean, to my mind, all 3 are corporates here. But they will gravitate towards the quality, towards the pedigree, towards the comfort, before that once all this lockdown opens, they will commence construction. It may also be a challenge for many of the developers to commence construction if your sales is not stacking up and your lender is not willing to give you a top up. How do you start construction then?
Anuj, very quickly, and in fact, I saw somewhere in terms of the business model of Mr. Dixon, and I think the recent one, the gentleman who had this firm by the Regus. Would you like to tell that how is that flexible? I think we're all talking as adaptability to the changes. I think that's the mindset, that's the business model. I would love if you could talk to our viewers at the moment. How is this model compared to the co-work, the WeWork that you mentioned? I found it very interesting. Yeah.
So people are very different. The 2 are very different. I think Regus is a traditional business center model and does very well in its own right. I think the co-working space is a very new age idea, which is equally taken up by the startups as well as by the corporate world. There's a lot more community building that happens in the co-working. There is a lot more tech play that happens in the co-working than the traditional business model. Just a couple of things on that one, before there as well. Just like before you sit in a Ola, Uber, you're going to think twice now. I mean, I've got data here from China. Capital Economics have given that data, and they have said is that after the lockdown, the car sales in China have zoomed up because nobody wants to do a shared transportation now. I don't know.
And Anuj, government is also giving an incentive about almost in currency of INR, it's about $1 lakh per car.
Yeah. One is that, and second is before also, I don't want to sit in a car, in a passenger, in a car where I don't know who was the earlier passenger. He sneezed. Did he leave the virus in there? Is likewise in some of these co-working, sanitization is going to become very, very clear, very proper. That, how do you give me the comfort, the security that, this has been properly sanitized? How do I know that the guy who's sitting next to me otherwise in a corporate space, I know who my neighbor is, he's my old friend, I know where he comes from, I know the background. Here, I don't know where they're coming in from. So, those models one will really need to test through once the lockdown opens up.
Very well, Anuj, and thank you. I think really given a huge perspective. And let me get Indrajit, because I'm seeing the screen flooded with questions, and I think it'll be very rude for me not getting, and I think it's all over the place. Indrajit, can you do two things to bring for our audience as well as for our panel?
We'll just start with the poll, and probably it will be live on the screen for a minute, and then we'll take one or two audience questions as well.
So you can do the poll and then take the question. Yeah.
Yes.
It says, do you think price drops would aid in boosting sales? So there are three options: yes, no, maybe.
It says that the host and the panelist can't vote. I was going to vote.
No, we're giving you some time to breathe. So Indrajit, can we have a question from the audience, and if you can take them live? Yeah.
Yes. Before I take any question live, I have a very enthusiastic gentleman all the way from Sri Lanka. He has sent a question on mail, and we have got a couple of more questions on mail as well. So I'll just read out Manish's question. I guess this is partially answered by Baman and Anuj, but would love to hear from other panelists as well on this. I'll take his second question first. He says, post-COVID-19, I foresee a business opportunity for facility management industry as asset built up are permanent and need professional efficiencies in real estate facility management. May I request honorable panel to express their point of view on the same.
And Indrajit, can you just tell who is the gentleman for the?
He's Manish Srivastav from Sri Lanka.
And he's one of the very legendary person in his earlier career with Lodha. Now he works for the large facilities in Sri Lanka.
I think there's absolutely no doubt if at any point hygiene and cleanliness, people have taken it more important is now. We're washing our hands, at least my hands don't look like my hands anymore, completely dry. But so people will, like developers, I think people will also pay a premium to be with a professional facility management company in terms of hygiene and the way the facilities are kept. So I think it's a great opportunity.
So I'll tell you what worked for us. So during this entire lockdown, we've got our own facility management team. And I have been receiving at least 10 calls on a daily basis saying thank you. In all our larger developments, our facility management team has been taking care of everything from the regular cleanliness, etc., to even entertaining calls from people whose parents live there and getting them, let's say, the groceries or the medicines, etc. And you cannot believe how much those guys are going to push for. They're going to become our ambassadors and actually push for people and say, hey, you know what? Everything else doesn't matter, but at the right time, these guys take care of us. So to answer your question, in short, 100%. What all we need to do is actually change. Product is going to be important, but the service is going to be just as important. And once we get that right, that formula, touch and feel done, I think it'll really work wonders for all of us.
That's great. I'm just taking one question live from the audience. Vaibhav Bedkar. Vaibhav, if you can unmute your mic and come in.
Hello.
Vaibhav,
Yes, sir.
are you live?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can introduce yourself and ask the question to the panelists.
Yeah. Hi, sir. This is Vaibhav Vedarkar. I'm from Pune. I run my small brokerage firm in name of Nest Seekers. So I just want to ask you about the future about commercial properties.
So I can go. So commercial property is, as I said, is Vaibhav, the verdict is not yet out. We will see how the U.S. economy really comes out of this situation. If there is a deep cut in the U.S. economy, it will have an impact on the demand. And in my opinion, what Ashish and Bowman said is that it will have a corresponding impact on the supply as well. So, unlike 2008 and 9, when the impact was largely on the demand, the supply continued. This time, because there is going to be a supply chain break coming in from China, the building material factories in India, the labor, you will see a corresponding impact on the supply as well. So the equation may actually pan out equal, because if demand goes down, supply also goes down, unlike the earlier challenges. But the large IT space, one would only be able to comment it once we know the extent of what's happened to the US. Sanjay, you want to add?
Yeah, I can. Basically, Pune is a 6 million square feet market. It's a very big market. And both in Hinjewadi and Kharadi, there is a good diversity of captives and third-party outsourcing companies. Also, I think developers like Panchsheel and many others, Aman, and likewise many other local developers have done a lot of strata sale. So it's a big demand for selling commercial spaces to HNIs in the market. So I think Pune, being a tier 2 city, is almost competing with tier 1 cities in India. And that will continue. And except for this setback of 2020, when most corporates will not take any decision unless they gauge the impact of COVID. But I have absolute no doubt that the markets will return in 2 years' time to its full glory.
Okay.
Vaibhav, I guess you got your answer.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Can I take one more from the audience?
Yeah, go ahead.
Abhijit Panigrahi. Abhijit, if you can unmute yourself and... Hello, Abhijit, can you hear us?
Okay, I think we probably lost it, and we'll come back. And since, I don't know, the time is simply flying, and actually such an engaging conversation, and questions are just coming up one after the other, which is a great sign. Sanjay, I know you're hard pressed for time, and I think there were a couple of slides that you wanted to show our reader, the viewers at the moment. Would you love to?
Sure. I basically wanted to share that what can make these circumstances better. So it's just one slide. We were deliberating amongst leaders in our group, and we were analyzing what happened during global financial crisis. And there was an interesting kind of analysis after the whole meltdown. And they identified a sector, which is automobile. Figured the two things that matter most during crisis, that's your speed and discipline. If you quickly assess the situation and the extent of likely damage, proactive measures, Ashish mentioned cash flow, how you're going to go about doing your business, digitization, and then maintain the discipline around it. The chance would be that you will come out of this much stronger, and therefore you will actually can potentially leapfrog after the recession. So just this two takeaways that we have to ensure that we take early calls on and be decisive. So that's what I wanted to quickly share with everybody.
All right, wonderful. Jeshri, you have any question there?
Yeah, yes, I wanted to ask Anuj and maybe also Ashish, since I can't see Baman here. Ashish, I mean, Anuj, for long you've been talking about building rental houses, building for rental, for giving out on rental, like the US and like the Middle East have it. Why are we not adopting such a system in India? Maybe Anuj could answer it from a consultant's point of view, and maybe Ashish will take it on.
So Jeshri, very good idea. And at some stage it will come in. It's called multifamily homes in the US. And it's a very big part of the business. The trouble here is, Jeshri, the rental yields on residential are only 2 or 3%. How do I really stack that up for any investor, any institutional investor, when, as an institutional investor, I can invest in, say, offices. I can get 8.5%, 9% return. So what's the compulsion for me to invest in residential? Unless the residential yields really start to come up, which means really either the rent needs to start to go up or the property prices need to come down. The math doesn't stack up at 2-3%.
Or the interest rates go down, Anuj.
I was just...
Yeah, interest rates go down below what percentage, Bowman?
I was hoping he would not say property rates come down, but interest rates come down. I had my fingers crossed.
Or rentals go up.
Rentals go up or interest rates come down.
Yeah, buddy, no, but you're buddies. How can you go?
I have a lot of audience asking a similar question, to what you guys said now. And this is a common questions across many audience. They want to ask, as cash flow will be one of the major concerns for all developers, will it take a toll on quality of construction?
No,
absolutely
not. No question.
Please understand, every crisis should teach us one thing: value build always works. Anyone who makes anything substantial can say bye-bye to his money. Never.
I think very beautifully said this one point. I think straight answers. I think the multiple people asked the same question, and I think they've been very. I think this is the moment of truth, and the moment of truth. Yeah, sorry. Somebody wanted to make a point. Ashish, yeah.
No, these are times you start relooking at your other costs. You start looking at your overheads. You start looking at your technology costs, employee cost. Those are things that you need to be efficient on. A product, end of the day, your brand, your company, if you do not build a good product, I think you're out of the market. There's no way that you can cut corners. Yes, if you can do value engineering through automation and cut costs on construction on that account, that's fine. But building a substandard product to save cost, I think, is never an option.
Well, I think the whole country is swear by this. The people, the panel that we have, and I think they're really people to look up to. And I think it'll be very unfair. We're getting a lot of architect question, and they're literally getting into my phone. And I've got this friend of mine, Ashish, and he really wants to ask, post-COVID, what will be expected from architects and consultants from the developer to achieve profitability in projects in future?
I think they have to deliver on. Sorry, the question was for me, right?
This is a question from the architect.
So I think on two accounts, right? Mainly one is on the design aspect of it. How do you make that apartment more efficient? Amenities, like Baman said, in terms of the lifestyle change, in terms of access controls. Even now you have elevators where you can scan your QR code on your phone and you don't need to touch the button. It may mean co-working spaces in your clubhouses. How do you reserve amenities within the development? So I think that is one aspect of it. Also, I think there'll be equal pressure in terms of cost of construction going forward. So in terms of efficient design, more from a cost of construction. So in terms of how much basement car parks are you making? How much steel are you putting? Everyone tends to only focus, while it's important, on the steel content, right? So how much steel, kilos of steel per square foot. People don't really focus on your carpet to super built up difference. So you end up building these inefficient basements, car parks and services. So you're actually building 1 million square foot, but your saleable out of that is 7 lakh square feet. So on a built up area, your cost of construction looks pretty. It's 2,500 or 600. The minute you go on saleable area, it starts going over 3,000 rupees. And that's where you get hurt. So I think cost efficiencies as well as I think innovative design, both these are important.
I think all my architect friends in the design fraternity, two very solid and points I think you bear in mind. And I think more importantly, it is important to work as one cohesive force because the objective remains the same. So Baman, let me just quickly, because you represent to the committee, to the government, what is the mood of the government in giving, the financial stimulus? I think we would be very keen, as me for sure, and the rest of the, viewers would like to know. What are some of the real things that's happening there?
Even I want to know. I can tell you this, that as of right now, the government is only focused on trying to control the spread or the death rate. They do not have the mind space for much more than that. And if you look at the way every industry is going to be affected, and every industry rightfully has an ask from the government, I'm not sure the government has the pockets to be able to give that kind of relief. I mean, give any kind of relief. If I were to make a guess, they would come out with 3 or 4 things that would be very short term. May give 1 or 2 things like interest rate reduction further for home loans. I hope they give income tax relief for home purchases. That is the value of the home as well as the interest paid thereon is given as an income tax break. And I hope they give it to every earning member and not just one house per family, etc. Those definitions are all wrong. And they might heed our request to kind of, give common how do I say this, definitions across the board for various types of housing. So affordable housing, just for everybody's knowledge, has a different meaning for the RBI, has a different meaning for income tax. I mean, it just becomes very difficult. So I think very few fiscal measures, but most the non-fiscal measures they would be interested in doing. I think RERA would, Anuj, give a 6-month or maybe a 1-year extension. I would think 1 year is what is needed. I hope they're not grudging, at least on that account, and they will give it wholeheartedly. But otherwise than that, not much, Vibhor. I don't think we can expect a lot. We can expect some amount of support. That's why I said go deeper, go with your financial institutions that are, your partners. You are going to need liquidity as of right now over everything else. And if you're liquid, I think a lot of your problems will be sorted out by yourself rather than looking around and trying to find relief anywhere else.
I think very well said.
I think another important step the government can take, and if India really plays its cards right, is attract manufacturing. Short term, of course, stimulus is very, very important for us to even survive. But having said that, I think from a long-term perspective, we're seeing a lot of companies who are looking at relocating. Today we are at 15% income tax rate. We are the lowest in the world. So that part is done. So it's very attractive for companies to come in. But unfortunately, the gestation period for a company to enter India and start a factory is anywhere between 2 to 3 years. Buying the land, getting approvals, and all the red tape that goes along with it. If they can create a single window clearance, right? So from a long-term job creation perspective, if they can, only for industries who bring in money from outside, are setting up new factories, if they can give a single window clearance, I think that will make a big difference from creating jobs. Also, I think India can stand to get advantage out of the cost rationalization that will happen across the world in terms of even IT jobs. Glass half full again. I feel that there'll be some percentage of increase in IT jobs that will happen. Of course, post stability and everything else. Today we give them good, decent quality output at a very low cost.
Many developers.
Add to that, Ashish, they would also have to promise the incoming investors that the rules will not change for a certain few or for the tax authorities, like what happened with Vodafone, what happened with Walmart. I think the government should say that we are here long term. There's an assurance, a guarantee that we will not change the landscape just because once you've come in. That itself would allow a big amount of.
I think those are two incidents that have left a negative thought. But I think India is one of the few countries in the world who have taken in foreign investments way back. I'll go 1983 with Texas Instruments coming in and have allowed investors to take money back out. Yes, these two incidents were serious and did leave a bad taste. But yes, you're right.
Okay.
Many
Thank you.
many developers have been asking for a waiver of stamp duty, or for a couple of months to come, and or like abolish the stamp duty completely for a couple of months. What's your take on that?
Any small
I,
step, any small step that you can take to get that customer to believe he's getting a benefit today, to take, end of the day, I think housing is a necessity, right? Today we give them small discounts, or you say if you buy in the next quarter, there'll be zero stamp duty. Now stamp duty, real estate is one asset class where you enter on a negative note. You pay $100, but your value is actually $92 because you pay stamp duty, which is out. That does not get added to the value of the unit, right? So in that sense, I think any small step, like Boman said, your interest rate from your income tax that you pay, deduction from your income tax, that benefit for the quarter, no stamp duty if you buy an apartment right now. Anything to push, small steps will help. For the
if I can just add,
Yeah.
Indrajit, just quickly, China, before they went into COVID-19, every day the top 30 cities used to sell 5,000 homes a day.
Oh,
When they went into COVID-19, zero sales. On the other side, from 1st March to 31st March, given exactly what Ashish and Bowman have said is on the stamp duty and the registration, the government gave them the benefit. They're back to 3,000 homes a day on the sale.
oh wow.
So it is going to be important to be able to bring in the urgency to the buyers. 60% of the sales that they are back. On the mall, I was looking at the data in there is, there's 57% of the sales back. And the reason, Indrajit, for that is that on Wednesday, second half, the government has announced that it is a mall day. All the corporates have to give it as an off only, that they have to necessarily go for consumption. Now they may go home, that's okay. But it is only Wednesday as the half day because they want consumption to happen. So I think those are the steps that you'll have to really bring in and think out of box and say, how do I create consumption? How do I create safety, security, sense of confidence to be able to bring back the customer?
Very well. I think Ashish, you mentioned, I think apart from the transactional things, government should look at it. I think we are fairly in very safe hands in Mr. Modi leadership, and the government machinery is doing. Baman rightly said there are some essential things to look at, and I think they are also taking time to address that. And make no mistake, government will come back, and I think Baman and rest of the committee team or people representing would get the best from the government as well. Actually, one thing I really liked in your point, I think there is also, this crisis also putting the attention for India to look at from the manufacturing aspect. The two biggest bottlenecks is in the hierarchies, first the land availability, and the second is ease of doing business. I think government is doing there as well. An hour has passed, and I think there is an appetite to have more, but I think, I'm just trying to get to the closure. But before that, there's something very interesting on the frame. We've got three people who are also part of the YPO, and Baman, Anuj, and Ashish are buddies in that. Is that correct, gentlemen?
That's right.
Yeah. So for I think, I just want to make a point, Baman said about relationship and, networking, trust, holding hands. So did Anuj, so did Ashish. Folks, can you tell how is this going to help you, and how is this messaging that you will, ensure will percolate down to the entire community of builders and developers, this buddy culture? Anuj.
Well, I know what Ashish is wearing in the bottom half of his body. So I think that buddy culture is only going to be about that, to make sure, these are deep relationships before. These are the times that you will know who stands with whom. And I can tell you, Bevor, there is no one guy who can come out of it, however large you may be. I mean, I was doing another webinar, and, the guy on the other side said beautifully, he said is that, it is not about the mall developer or the retailer. It is about the customer. It is about the government to come in. It's about the financier, how they're going to be able to stand. So this time, I think it is going to be buddy all across, right from the central government, state government, local bodies, financiers, intermediaries, developers, customers, everything you'll have to take it. Because, before it's not that we've been hit. Usually it's the real estate industry who's been hit. Every sector in India has been hit. Every major economy has been hit in that. So I'm just saying this is the best time that you will see is the collaboration will happen truly in its full spirit.
Well said, Anuj. Well said. Baman, your take. And Indrajit, before Baman gets in, would you like to throw the second poll?
Yes,
Yeah,
and meanwhile,
Baman.
we'll let one audience in, and like if you allow.
No, I would like to first take that. You just take that poll, and then Baman can give his bit and Ashish, and then we take that. Yeah. So, gentlemen, with stricter regimes in real estate, has it helped the cause of buyers? Very simple answers: yes, no, maybe. Yeah. Baman, your take on the question, the buggy and yeah.
Just to answer, we all go out there looking for a friend when actually we should become the friend, and then the world comes looking for us.
Yeah.
I think start with ourselves, right? When we start with the spirit of partnership, we should always begin with ourselves. There's an old saying that it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. So start with yourself. It's very simple. Start with your customers, start with your own teams. Be fair, in the spirit of fairness at a time like this gets appreciated. I've known from a very long time, people don't want to work with the smartest or the best. They want to work with the people that they feel safe and happy with. Make people feel safe and happy around you. I think, the rest of it will just follow. Yeah.
Super. Ashish, your take, and I would try to later sum up, and any folks would like to say something, but Ashish, your take, and then Indrajit, you take the last question from the audience.
Completely agree with Anuj and Bowman on all the points made. I think this is the time to really go deep with your relationships. And first thing is, I think, to start with the customer, to ensure that you keep that trust, that faith, be flexible. Let's not look at contracts. These are times where they will appreciate. I mean, they are genuinely going through a difficult time. It's uncertain. They don't know how long this recovery will take. So I think there someone needs to take a little compassionate view. I think customer intimacy will go to a different level. And that's something that people should really look into. Also with your vendors, end of the day, we've all been in business for 40 plus years. These are vendors that we've had relationships, bankers, etc. for 20, 25, 30 years. I think talk to them, pick up the phone, dialogue, transparency, and keep that communication on. The minute people start not communicating, then things start getting uncertain. There may be few conversations will be difficult. So be it. But I think pick up that phone and speak and talk.
And I think all the ecosystem in the vendors who supply you building materials and everybody. Yeah, in the G take that. Yeah,
all
go ahead,
stakeholders.
Ashish.
All stakeholders.
Sure thing. Yeah, in the G.
Yeah, I have one question from Ashwini Khanna. He wants to know what will be the impact of this pandemic on premium segment, or will the focus shift to affordable housing?
Can I get Baman's take, and all the other gentlemen as well?
It's very simple, right? I don't know how many people will say that with all the blue collar job losses that may happen because of companies not being able to pay the salaries or letting people go. Why would that segment continue to grow? I mean, human behavior will follow after we see what the outcome of this will be. The outcome will depend on how long this thing stays, and lastly, how the rest of the companies or the economy performs. I can say this about premium housing with confidence, that premium housing will start moving towards, of course, value, but also towards, let's say, everything that a customer would desire. So a lot of people who will still go out there and put out money will put it out because they believe that they've got the right, proposition in their hands, and they won't let it go. This is a much more educated customer. He's always on the ball. He's better at predicting the future, and he knows that this is the time for a decision to be made, and he'll get the best possible deal. Anuj, I guess your views are more important.
Yeah.
So Bowman, still early days, but one thing I'm very surprised when I'm speaking with my team, a lot of the premium customers, Bowman, who had visited the sites 8, 9, 10 months ago and had not done the transactions, they're calling our agents and saying, look, is that availability still there? They definitely want to negotiate on the price, but they are the ones, because it was a bigger apartment. Now that they have lived in there, the quality of the space wasn't as good. So suddenly they are like starting to call proactively. So, we may be just surprised again, but when I go back to psychologists, sociologists, that theory that you don't know when we are going to come out of this lockdown, what will actually happen in there. It may well be is that, if the informal sector, Indrajit, is hit hard, then affordable is going to get hit hard. Yet, the premium, the guy still has money.
True.
in there. And so, that customer may still be out. So I'm saying is that I cannot today say anything, but, it is pretty evident that, there may be a completely different shake only that comes out of this.
True. I have one audience question. He wants to ask it live to the panel. He happens to be a developer as well as a designer. So here we have Mr. Virendra.
Yeah,
Mr. Khare?
yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, so you can ask the question to the panel.
Yeah, good evening, Boman. I believe you and Mr. Anuj also and Mr. Ashish. It was really great to attend this webinar. And I think that it is the time now for special townships now, because they will be a small areas, maybe for 40 acres, 50 acres, and all inclusive, including all basic requirements like convenient shopping, a small retail, maybe a small housing, a school, hospitals, and all those things. And with this thing, with the low rise, high density, you can achieve the project in a very nice manner and complete it in a very nicely. Because when you have low rise, high density, the cost of construction is quite low. Because if you construct 7 or 8 story building, your cost of construction is around 1,800 to 2,000. But if you go above 22 and 30 stories, you get 3,000 and 3,500 rupees a square feet. So you are unnecessarily making a loss on square feet. So it's better you go low rise, high density and make a small townships, all inclusive, including school, maybe a hospital, maybe a convenient shopping and everything. And it can be even a gated community, so that if there is any fear of maybe like COVID-19, there can be, it can be easily cordoned off and it can easily take up this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kared. Does anybody want to make a comment? Baman, you want to say something?
The time for townships is not now. It had started some time back only, and I know Mr. Khare, very well. So yes, Mr. Khare, I'm in agreement with you. Not possible in the mega cities, but definitely just in the MMR region where we operate. We're doing 2 townships, you're aware. And the response out there has always been much better, because you're able to kind of serve the people a lot easier, and you can keep developing more and more value for your consumer as you learn the consumer and go on in that area. So yes, it is important. I mean, it's something that will take off beautifully, but also you should remember that big townships take very deep pockets, and these deep pockets to get at this day and age might be something that I would not advise most people to jump in and do. I would say take it easy first, build up a good book, and then get into this area.
Thank you, Baman. Gentlemen, we've all, so Anuj and Ashish and Baman, one last, 10-second, 20-second messaging to the, Anuj, can we start with you?
I would say
final shots.
Remain positive. I think this is not the end of the world. Ensure that there is cash available for you to go through it. It is not a wealth destruction event that has happened. It's a productivity loss that is happening. If you can come on the other side, it is going to be very, very nice and consolidated path.
Baman?
So no event kind of destroys the whole world, and this is no different, right? I think coming out from this will only make us stronger, better, and the way to do it is obviously easier said than done, but as long as you can conserve cash, I think it's more important to kind of clock or do business and stay in the business. Remember that finally at the end of this, you will have that one set of skills which most people don't, and that is your business and you've been through so many punches. So it's not how many times you will fall, it's how many times you are getting up and going ahead. I can tell you 2 years out, all of us, all developers will be a lot stronger, better, and a lot more successful.
Very nice. Ashish?
I think people should be practical. Besides the points that Anuj and Boman brought out, I think practicality. Take out the emotion out of the business. Be very practical. See what's important right now. People, tend to get caught up to say, I believe the value of this product is X, and I will, how can I sell log kya bolenge sort of a thing. So I think these are times that one really needs to be practical when you're looking at certain decision making within the organization. I think stay away from new acquisitions at least for a quarter to see how things settle down. And definitely the most important being cash flows.
Well, how much I can thank you would be less. But to sum up, I think something really touched you, and that was the emotional core of it. Irrespective of the things, technology, people, everything, I think people will be at the end the most important asset to you. And I think to continue, I would say all industries innovate and reinvent, rectify. It's a time for that change that has to happen. I think organization, not only real estate, Indian real estate, across the spectrum, will have to plan for business continuity. That's fundamental. I think space optimization and cost realization is also very important to that extent. Anuj said very important, hand-holding, keeping that, trust with each other. I think Baman, Ashish, everybody said that. Keep that trust, keep that, sense of ownership. We are with you, main tumhare saath hu. It's like we are with you together in this fight. At the end of the tunnel, we come out stronger, as Baman said, more stronger and more evolved. Focus on online presence. I think it's important. People, technology would be the helm. It is staring in your face. What we are doing right now is technology. And my lovely editor who's put this panel together is actually going to use this technology and come up with a cover story in the May issue. Is that right, Jashi? Do I have a yes from you?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
So I think the third learning and most important, I think, is keep that online thing, keep that whole system, adapt that. I think that will be the turn, a game changer. And yet, hold your friends, hold your industry colleagues, hold your stakeholders, work as one cohesive force. And I think we are a completely internet savvy country. And I think that's where I think for me it was very profound, very learning. I'm sure for our viewers as well. We're going to put together this series. The thread of this communication doesn't stop. The learnings go and keep multiplying. The whole industry will come up. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you, Anuj.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Baman. Thanks, Ashish.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.